Hi folks, if you're friends with me on Facebook, did you like the sneak preview? Here she is. Oops, excuse me. A couple of people asked me when they saw the photographs, is that a homemade test rig? Oh, what's that a test for? Well, no, it's not. Well, it is a homemade rig, but it's not, if you know what I mean. I'll explain as I go along. This hopefully is the beginnings of a homemade fruit machine. Yeah, as crazy as it sounds, but I'll tell you how it came about. I had a set of reels lying about. These are a spare set for a Big 7. And I was setting up some MAGIK motors. And what I ended up doing was, because Big 7 runs off 24 volt and MAGIK runs off 12, I transplanted those MAGIK motors into that reel set. It's the same assembly, it's a Starpoint reel set. So that I could run them off of 12 volt. Because what I wanted to do is that already, you've seen the videos I've done on the Alpha display. Well, I've done a program for a few different Alpha displays now, I think 3 or 4. And it got me thinking, well, what else can I do with this little board here? This Velleman board. So what I started fiddling with was, well, I wanted to see if I could detect the octo tabs in a set of reels that I had lying around. So I wrote a program for that where I would just spin the reels by hand, and then I wrote a program that's checked through here where it would see the tabs or not. And that worked a treat. So then I thought, well, what can I do to actually drive a set of reels? These still had the 24 volt motors on at the time. I thought, well, I should have a go at actually writing a program to drive the stepping motors. And after that I thought to myself, well, hang on, I've only got, what, 6 or 7 output lines available on this, so I would need something to drive all 3 motors from just a couple of lines. And it reminded me of a project I'd done for, I think it was, I'd done it for fun back in 2007, but it was on breadboard, and it used this little chip here. So I'll tell you what we've got here. What we've got here is the converted reel set with 12 volt motors in it. They're 48 stepping motors. We've got a standard Alpha display, which I wrote the driver for and I showed off. This here is my homemade driver board. And what it is you've got this wonderful chip here called the UCN 5818. What it is, it's a display driver chip that used to be used back in the 80s. It's called a serial line driver. You put 32 bits of information in one at a time through its serial port, and then you put a signal into its clock pin and you get 32 lines out. And then I've just got ULN 2803A transistor chips there. And what that's done is it's basically made me a serial to parallel port, so I can send the information in serially through this into my board there, and then it pops out in the reels there. If you've seen this before, this is my Velleman board that I bought before Maplin's closed down. And that's providing the interface to go from USB to my laptop here, and then it's all powered off my reclaimed power supply there. So at the minute it's a bit of a rat's nest, but it does work. If I just kick this on, and then give me a second. Program's still getting written day by day, so I still have to build the program as I go along. Give it a minute. Oh. Actually, wait to see if this does this. Yeah. They're not going to stand that. What a bit of an epic fail there. But actually, I'll show you what that does. There's not doing what it's meant to do. I'm going to fix it. Right, forgot to plug the driver card in. There we go. The reels don't quite line up. When it's playing, it's just playing by itself at the minute. That's nothing to do with the program, that's to do with reel 1 in this reel set. The tab was actually broke off, so I had to glue it on, so it's slightly on the wrong position. And I just roughly adjusted the tabs in the other two reels to compensate. I'm slightly out of this middle one here. But I'll show you. It's syncing the reels are treating. You see that red line that I've marked on the reel? See if I stop the program. Just do this. If I stop the program and restart it, it'll boot up. Wait a minute. Watch the reels. See the red lines? They're all more or less in line. That's position 1. It's found the optical tabs perfectly. And then all it does after that is it does it SRU style. It increments 3 counters. And then it rotates the reels around so it matches the counters. Then in software though, the counters, I've actually got the counters on the screen there. See it working away? It increments the top counters here and then it runs the bottom counters till it matches. It's a wee bit, that's actually position 8, not 88. My program's not perfect. I've just got to display down random things here as well. It'll say play me or by magic, or it'll give you the number of plays that's actually been played, as though somebody was actually playing it with the start button. Obviously they're not playing it with the start button at the minute. It's going high there. Let me show you. If you look carefully on the card, you'll see it doing its thing. The data for the driver chip comes off of there and it gets fed in through that bottom port there into the chip. Alpha displays in the top 3 lines. Even got reset working. I think it's because with this display here, you ground the reset to reset it, not send the 5 volt. Let me just watch the display for a bit, see if it comes up with the number of plays that's been played. I can just change that by changing one line in the program to just show the number of plays all the time, but I thought, well, that's pretty boring. I'll have it show other things as well. Now we've got back to MAGIKs LITTLE 7. What was I going to show? There you go. We've played it 16 times so far before playing it with money. And eventually the aim is that it will have a coin acceptor on it. There's more stuff to add to it. I'm only using one half of this chip at the minute. There's a whole other set of lines on the back side of it. So if I adapted something to run to another board, and the other board I've got in mind is a JPM System 80 I/O board. Well, that's just the output board you see along the back of the reels in one of those JPM machines. I have got a JPM machine I could borrow the board from. And then there's no reason why I couldn't use the back side of that chip to talk to that board. And then we can add all sorts. We can add lamps. We can add a coin acceptor. We can add custom sound. At the minute, I've just borrowed sounds off stuff online. This is the sound that's playing in this, like a laser shot or something. I do have some error traps in it as well. Give me a second. Just stop the program for a minute. Right. Shut this off. Right. So let's see. Oh, this is a wee bit tricky to do one-handed. Hold on. You'll look at a big red screen for a minute. Right. Right. So if you give me a second. Right, let's see. Let's see, we're going better problems. Well, let's say there's a fault with reel 1 there. Watch what happens. I've got reel 1 disconnected. You see that counter going crazy on the screen there? What do you see? I think that would be loud enough to call the attendant. So basically why I put that in is you don't, and you see that the reels have gone dead as well, because what I've done is I've turned the safety blanking line off here. And it basically shuts that chip down on its standby. So now there's no outputs to the reels connected at all. The reels are just sitting dead. Why I did that was, if that reel jams, it would be in the wrong position in gameplay. Stop this there, hold on. If that reel jams, it would be in the wrong position in gameplay. And then like, the customer sort of thing, if this was an actual machine, would complain because we would have like, that and the line up there. Well, if the line would actually be around the back, these reels are backwards at the minute. It's just, I've done it for ease of connection. So you need some sort of error trap, so if something goes wrong, the machine stops and goes, hold on a minute, I'm not working right. So all I did was, if when it first starts up, if it doesn't see a tab within 4 or 5 spins, it's got a safety counter in it, and if it counts up to a certain number, I think it's 300 attempts. No, 300 symbols or whatever. Aye, 300 symbols. If all the reels rotate more than 300 symbols, then it's going to show reel failure like that, and the ear-piercing loud alarm as well. Right, hold on. Oh, I can actually turn this off now. So I put another safety in it as well, where say the connection gets bumped for the interface card, or the interface card loses power. Well then, that's not working. It says, hold on, start again. Got funny interference coming through when I'm trying to play that one particular sound. That doesn't matter much though. Oh, I know what that is. It's trying to send... That's a bit of schoolboy error with the program. It's trying to send the information out to this as well, and it's switched off. So it's probably just... Give it a minute. You can see what's going to happen there. You're going to get this loud alarm in a minute.
The 23-year-old patient, Sean, is inside with the homeowner's wife.
Now basically you can see what happens then. Sometimes that sound isn't playing for that alarm when there's nothing connected. I mean, you're not going to see this anyway in the physical machine. This is just for me. But it would play an alarm. Right, I'll show you this again. As you can see here, my videos aren't all about showing everything all sweetness and light, everything working perfectly first time. There are glitches, there you go. Now you wouldn't see that on the screen in a physical machine, but you would hear the alarm, everything dead, you hear the alarm going. And that would indicate something's wrong. So, and just make sure this, kick it off again, the car's connected now. Yeah, that's us back to normal. So, there you have it. Called it at the minute what it shows on display Magic Little 7, but that's just because I'm using big 7 reels and it's a tiny thing at the minute. I was thinking about what I could do with it is maybe build a small cabinet or something, just slot it up in a corner somewhere. Or I could use a bigger cabinet and slot it in a bigger cabinet, or I could have a whole screen, whole shebang with a screen alpha display, lamps, reels, coin acceptor, whatever. But I'll need to experiment with coin acceptors first to see if they can run by grounding the common outputs and have and switch lines and the mech go to ground, whatever. Say like, normally the convention with the coin mech is you put your 10p in and it connects a line internally in the coin mech from 12 volt to your coin input. Your coin common is usually 12 volt, your coin and then it connects that to your coin input. But I've seen it happen a couple of times the other way around, where the coin common is connected to ground, 0 volts, and put in a coin and just grounds a switch line. So I was going to try best of both worlds. I was going to try running the coin common off of 5 volts. I'm waiting for somebody to send me a couple of coin mechs up. I've got a couple of old pound coins sitting there, so I've got stuff to play with. I've got a System 80 lamp board that I can play with as well and connect to this, see if I can get lamps to come on and off. What I did notice though is, despite this being a Windows 10 laptop and despite this being 2018 technology, this interface board is quite slow. So when you add the other half of that chip into the mix, it slows your reels down a wee bit. So I would have to come up with something where if the lamps are being addressed, the reels aren't, so to speak, such thing. But the basics of it are there. I mean, it's a bit of a rat's nest at the minute, but easy enough to tidy it up. It's all running off that PC power supply without a problem. Nothing's heating up. I sat with this on maybe 3 hours last night, 4 hours the day before. Those drivers don't get remotely warm. They're more than handling the load. And it was really easy to build. All I did was I had these various plugs and crimp terminals lying around in my box. I got that chip there for a tenner, and all I've done is I've used Kynar wire to link the outputs for this to the inputs to these, so I've got 16 driver lines. I've also, there's 8 transistors in each chip and I'm just using 4 transistors in each one. Well, yeah, but I've doubled them up. I joined 2 inputs together, so instead of 8, I've got 4 doubles, so it just spreads the, I'm not explaining that very well, it's spreading the current load across the chip, so yeah, it can easily handle it. I mean, if you want to see what I'm on about spreading the current load, look at an MPU4 circuit diagram. You'll see they've done exactly the same. They double up the inputs for each line just to make the chip work that little bit easier and cooler. But like I said, I had this on for plenty of time last night, and it's working a treat for what I wanted to do at the minute. But anyways, question I've got to myself now is, where does it go from here? Do I continue it on? Do I build a cabinet front? Does anybody have the top half of a Belfruit Casino cabinet or a real cabinet or something, minus the base? Because that would be ideal for it. I could just set the base on the floor and then have this bump inside it. I've got a shuttle PC, I think they call it. It's a little cube PC that could provide for the brain for it instead of this laptop. I mean, I could just have it with the laptop and have it, you just plug the laptop into the side of it and away it goes. And that's an option. That might be the easiest option actually. Just the thing just sits there and does nothing unless I plug a laptop into it. Or I could have it a full standalone machine. I could put a ITX PC board in it, and then I wouldn't even need a separate power supply for the PC because it would just run off of that. I mean, there's options available to me. This project's not finished here, but it's something I wanted to do for a while. I mean, I started. Sorry about the shaking. It's just I tremble a little bit. I'm sorry about the camera action there. Yeah, this is something I wanted to do for a while. I mean, I know it's a bit of an out there oddball thing to want to do. I mean, what do you want to do with your life? I mean, I want to build one of these. But I've always been interested in mechanics and electronics, and this is like all of it together. And it's not that difficult to do. I first done it, like I say, I first done it in 2007 in breadboard, and well, here it is. I've actually got a bespoke, homemade, completed driver board. So, yeah, I think I've gone on long enough about it. If you want to know more about it, give me a buzz online. If you want to help me out with any parts, like I don't know, I could do a C435 coin mech. I mean, I've got the systemated board already, but if you want to make me a ribbon cable with an IDC connector on one end and 20 bare leads in the other, then feel free. I mean, I'd like to get other people involved in this project if I can. I'd like to see a completed machine if I can, but I mean, that's maybe wishing for a bit too much. But yeah, I've got it to where I want it for now, and I've proven that the idea can work. So what I'll do in a minute is I'll put this up in the MPU Mecha as well for you to view. I'll put a thread on about it, and we'll see what happens. To be continued, hopefully. Bye bye.